So remember, synapses dominate number of neurons. So neural networks is really a wrong word. It's really synaptic networks. The power, the space, the memory, the computation, the communication, all standard metrics of computer science and engineering scale with number of synapses. What you see here, in the bottom you see the picture of the synapse that I showed earlier. And we're equating the synapse with a bit line and a word line in a memory. And between the bit line and the word line is a little magic cube. That cube could be a phase change memory, it could be magnetic tunnel junction, tunnel electroresistance, it could be some sort of organic substance, or it could be SRAM, EDRAM, it could be an oxide. So you can think of the synapse as a resistance in series with some sort of an access device. So one of the first things we did was we figured out how to implement Hebbian learning in an extremely power efficient fashion in this simple translation from biology to nanotechnology. And what you'll see here is just very simple. As two pulses, the postsynaptic and the presynaptic pulses go, the cube turns green, means synapse turns on. And if the pulses go in an opposite direction, the synapse turns off. So you see how that's very simple. But right in that simplicity, I've given you the seed for an entirely new computer architecture that breaks the mold of von Neumann computing. What is von Neumann computing? You have a processor, you have a memory, the two are interconnected by a bus. If you want to flip one bit, you fetch it, flip it, and you store it. The bus becomes the von Neumann bottleneck. What did you see here? The bit did not move. The commands moved. There is no bus. This is very much like the brain, where computation is in situ. You don't move a synapse to some central location, flip it, and store it back. Okay? That's the first principle. Now, based on that, we demonstrated a Hebbian kind of a learning in a variety of synapses. And the third principle is to turn back the clock. So if you look at IBM's power processor circa 2008, it was touching almost 5 gigahertz synchronous. IBM's first PC circa 1978, 5 megahertz. ENIAC, 100 kilohertz. But the brain is clockless. It's asynchronous. It's event driven. Okay? It consumes energy in the following way. It does what is necessary when it is necessary, and only that which is necessary. So that's the third key, is event-driven computing. The fourth key is very simply stated, is that our transistors leak when they don't do anything. So we need to learn to do nothing better. Okay? So in other words, the passive power. So with all these things and a number of architectural designs, as we have built 2 integrated chips, and these chips are now back from the fab. Hopefully next time I'll be able to hold and show you a demo. Second video, please. So the roadmap for our phase 1 sort of brought about 1 million synapses. Next, we'll design a system with about 10 to the 10 synapses and fabricate it in our phase 3 and build eventually a 10 to the 14 synapse system. So you may wonder, how does this tie back into the neuroscientific knowledge we gained? So look at the wiring diagram of the monkey brain and imagine that an area, a colored brain region, is replaced by a chip. Then our overall system would sort of be a system of chip that would emulate the wiring diagram of the mammalian brain. And not only that, our system will learn not only the synapses, but will learn the connections. The entire chip will be reconfigurable with synaptic as well as structural plasticity. So these are kind of the computing models that can deal with the sensory tsunami that we are facing. So going from that, this summarizes the achievements of the IBM Synapse team, which I already mentioned, the university partners, along neuroscience, supercomputing, nanoelectronics, and the next step is to build learning systems. So what does this mean for the world? What it means is a complementary model of computing. If you think of one-on-one computing, which is with us and will stay with us forever, as the left brain, then synapse is the right brain. If you think of one-on-one computing as programmed, then synapse is the learning counterpart. If you think of one-on-one computing as computation-driven, then synapse is really energy-driven. This is really two different aspects, and we are focused entirely on the first, which will be with us. There's no doubt in my mind. But there is a huge opportunity in this nascent and emerging field of cognitive computing. So where can you play? Since this is the Design Automation Conference, let me tell you a key problem that we are facing as we build our next generation chips. So this is the standard design flow that we use within IBM. This is thanks to my colleagues at IBM Austin, Chuck Alpert and Fadi Jabara. And this is the standard flow. You can look at it. I don't need to explain this to this audience. The key thing that we need in the next iteration is ability to do synchronous, asynchronous co-design. We need proper tools which allow us to build event-driven systems, very large-scale event-driven systems. So the new flow could look something like this. This is in collaboration with Rajit Manohar from Cornell University, who has a tool called ACT, asynchronous compiler tools. And this is sort of one proposal as to how this might flow into the new flow. So that's a challenge to you. And if you're interested, I'd like to repeat my advertisement. We are hiring. I would love to hear from you. So now, let me conclude. So I told you the advances in neuroscience, supercomputing, nanotechnology. And I ask you to reflect on how does this impact the world going forward? Going forward, as our ability to scale the transistors down diminishes significantly, our ability to move power of the chip diminishes. What are the kind of systems that we should build? And where are the new business opportunities? And how does cognitive computing fit in? So I, of course, have done tremendous meditation on it. And I would like to share with you my vision, which is this. So thank you.
Thank you very much for the very exciting and thought-provoking talk. I think we need to probably invite you back at DEC 2018 to see where the journey ended up by that point in time.
I think the futurists never are tasked with fulfilling their predictions.